I'm gonna go for a walk on the beach. If you saw my last video, you saw that we live here on Lake Michigan. To open up the gate here, and just thought I'd share a little more of the wonderful scenery here with you. Today I want to talk about what I consider some downsides. Does NMN have any downsides? Well, absolutely no, it doesn't have any downsides. It's been incredible. It's revived my life. It's given me my life back when I come home, as I said in my last video, and forgive the wind noise, it's a little breezy here. I'll give you guys a view of what I'm looking at behind you. Yeah, this was my backyard growing up. This is where we'd walk down to the path every day, especially in the summer, but oftentimes throughout the rest of the year, even just to go for a walk. It's the end of September now, so yeah, it's a little chillier, but not cold yet. Matter of fact, the water temperature is still around 70, so totally swimmable. Not for those of you wanting Florida temperature waters, but it's totally swimmable here. I've gone in it when it was about 50, so that was a lot more challenging. So anyways, back to topic of the day. You know, I sometimes think about all the great things. I think every day the great things about NMN, but there are challenges, and maybe not directly downsides or negatives, but challenges is probably more adequately describing the state of NMN. And what I'll say is that, there's still barriers. The barriers to entry. Price certainly is still a barrier. It could be less. We just ordered a supply. A business associate of my parents that I mentioned, we had sent him a couple months supply of NMN and TMG. And he did great with it, and he wants to take it some more. And so when he gets back on a trip that he's doing, my parents are going to send him a year's supply. And they say, how much is it? And I say, well, I added it up, it's $500, around $500. I think it was like $495 or something, so around $500. That is a year's supply. That's a little over $1 a day. But to bite that off at once, I could definitely see a lot of people pushing back on that and saying, hey, that's too expensive for me. Even though that's a year's supply, maybe they'll buy it a couple months at a time. But, to get the best deal and to make sure you've got stock now with the FDA's challenges, I would say a lot of people are going to order a year's supply, if not more. And then, like I said, freeze the other one. Well, if you order 2-year supply, you're talking about almost $1,000 and one pop. Now, those of us who know what NMN does for us, it's an easy call. If you've got the money, you do it. You just do it. But for people who are, just trying to figure it out and on the edge, just experimenting on the edge of trying something, yeah, that's just a big commitment. So it's a barrier. And the other barrier is you can't just run down to the grocery store and get it. Yes, I believe in DoNotAge, and I believe that people should order NMN from DoNotAge for a number of reasons. But that's no reason that people shouldn't be able to go down to a local store and just pick it up on a whim. You may want to try it right now. You may be watching this video going, man, I'd like to go try it today. This guy, if you've watched any of my videos, yeah, I'm going to be 60 years old in 2 months. And, I feel the best I've ever felt. I'm active, I can run, I could run a couple miles on this beach right now at a really good clip and feel fantastic and not be worrying about my heart rate, racing and just getting, being in danger, right? And that wasn't the case 5 years ago. I was afraid to run at all. My heart would start racing and I'd feel like really, really bad. So NMN has been massive for me, just huge. And then people watch that kind of thing and hear that kind of thing and then say, well, I want to go get it. Well, there's a price barrier. Well, there's an availability or a distribution barrier. And so all of these things add up. And are they downsides? Is it the fault of NMN? No. But you know, if you look at what the FDA has done, they've not made it any easier for anyone. And I just believe wrongfully so. So the current state of the politics of NMN, with the drug industry, with David Sinclair, with FDA, these are certainly downsides to trying to take NMN and convince someone that they should even try it. Because people, and I've had this happen, and I'm sure you have too, and maybe some of you have been in this boat, where you say, oh, I'd like to try it. And then you research it a little bit, or I'd like to look into it. And the first thing that comes up is, you know, some of these videos about the FDA. Oh, well, they banned it. I don't want to take this thing. You know, it's dangerous. Well, you know, the fact is the safety record is impeccable for NMN. And that's just not true. So they've clouded, they've muddied the waters, not these waters, lovely Lake Michigan, but no, they've muddied the waters and they've made it confusing and they've scared people, and that is by design. You know, the FDA is doing this and they're being vague about it, and people don't understand the reasoning behind it. You know, I would say on the surface they're being vague, right? A lot of people just read the headlines and maybe a few paragraphs, and they don't really understand what's going on. And they may say, well, it has to be a drug because it has to be regulated because it may be dangerous. That kind of thing. That's what I mean by muddying the waters. So these are challenges. And then when it comes time, you know, say you do go out and try it, and say you do great. Along those lines, I'll say, you try to tell someone about it. And that's really, really, really tough. I know I do it here, and we've done it successfully here. We've shown 20,000 people the way to NMN. And that's amazing. You know, that's awesome. But there's so many more. I run into neighbors, relatives. They'll spend an hour telling me what's wrong with them and the challenges that their relatives are having and the challenges that their neighbors are having. I mean, I walk with a neighbor here, and she, you know, when I'm visiting, and we've known them for years, we've known her for years, and she'll tell me, you know, oh, so-and-so, oh, they've got this and this problem, and oh, so-and-so. And I'll say, I can't help but think about NMN. It's just the way I am. It's just the way I'm wired. And I think, I don't know if it would cure or make life easier for these people, but I feel strongly that it could. And of course, you know, it's immediate, he'd never do that. So-and-so would never try it. So-and-so would never do it. And is this the fault of NMN? Is this a downside? It is difficult for me to accept that, because I've seen the results, because I've seen people willing to try, you know, to improve their lives. And I would extend that to the lifestyle changes. I would extend that to giving up sugar. I would extend that to any number of things, you know, that I do. The exercise, you know, eating better, caloric restriction, stretching, you know, cold showers. There's so many things. And I share these things with people in person, as I'm sure some of you do. And of course, it's a challenge to get people to try it. And I beat this drum in the last video. This is along the lines of some of the things I've talked about. Is it the fault of NMN? It just makes it frustrating. We live in a culture that if the food industry can't make money off of something, if the drug industry can't make money off of something, it doesn't show up in the news. I've heard people say, why isn't this in mainstream media? Well, is that where you're getting your information from? Is that really the place you want to hear about things that are going to help you? Do you turn on the news and hear advice on things that will help you? Almost never. Sanjay Gupta will occasionally talk about things that will help you, you know, and then they erase it from, you know, the newscast. So it's online, talks about omega-3, talks, for example, recently. And there was a television special, they had touted it. So he mentions omega-3 on the website for CNN. And I went, oh my God, maybe he'll cover this. He'll talk about supplements on his reporting, on his report on CNN. So I watch it, and he goes into his report. It's about Alzheimer's. and a study that's going on, human study that's going on, and never once did he mention omega-3 or any of the other supplements that, that he talked about, online. And that is just frustrating. That is just maddening. And it's because the advertisers aren't going to make money off of it. It's because, there are filters, in the media. And another thing people asked about when the FDA got sued, well, we sued them, right? The Natural Product Association filed a lawsuit just over a month ago. There was nothing in the major news. There was nothing in the news media. And people complained. They said, why am I not hearing about this in the news? Is this really going on? Do you really just imagine how many things you aren't hearing about in the news. Just imagine. Because they're going to only cover the things that interest them and their benefactors. That's it. And it is quite maddening. It is quite frustrating. And because it's not in the mainstream food supply or the mainstream, pharmaceutical supply, nobody hears anything about it. And that is a challenge. Is that a downside? Is it the fault of NMN? No. But it's a challenge. It is something that drives me crazy. So trying to convince someone, because they are following, the media outlets, that there are ways to improve their life. There are ways for them to live healthier. There are better diets. There are better habits, and there are dietary supplements that extend far beyond just NMN. Obviously that's my pet project. That's the thing that gave me my life back, and I'm forever grateful. For every year that I get right now that's at the level of the last 3, I'm just eternally grateful for it, because it's free life. I'm in the bonus round. I'm playing the pinball machine, and I just got, several free games, and it's a fantastic feeling. And I just think, in general, almost got hit with a wave there. The way that I'm wired is to share that. When I find something, I just feel it's responsibility. I just feel it's a responsibility for me and people out there, the industry, Natural Product Association, other resellers. It's a responsibility, to share the message for NMN. It's not just something that benefits us, and then, this channel, people use my code ThePulse and they buy NMN. That's great. I'd rather them have it available locally. Like, as cool as it is that I have a channel and I love talking about it and I'm doing something that I love, I'd rather tens of millions or hundreds of millions of people, in Western countries, right? In Asia, apparently it's already that way. But in Western countries, in places like the US, places where my friends and family live, I just sometimes imagine what this place would look like, what people would look like. Those walks that I said I took, through the stores or through the airport, and just saw so many people in rough shape, and knowing you could feel so much better about yourself. I wanted to make a video actually today about the mental aspects of NMN, but I kind of it's a hard sell. It's hard to make people understand. It's not just a physical benefit. It impacts the way you think, and it impacts your outlook. So maybe you're an unhappy person and you kind of think, well, even if I got fit, I'd still be unhappy because I don't have this, or this in my life, or my heart is broken because of this, or this, or I don't have a partner. But your outlook improves. So it's not just your condition. It's not just your body that improves from NMN. It's your outlook. It's your mental approach to things. It's the way you make decisions. All of this is impacted. It's way more complete than I probably give it credit most of the time. It's way more all-encompassing than just a physical improvement. It improves your life in many, many ways, and especially your outlook and your planning. I've recently made some big decisions that I know were impacted in the way that I'm thinking with what I call the NMN brain. And day-to-day decisions, I'm consciously aware that I'm making decisions better on a day-to-day basis. And the end result is I'm happier and I'm able to plan things in my life, like coming home, for a random 10-day visit to see my folks. They keep saying, why are you here? Are you here for work? No, here for you. If I'm up there in age, you can imagine their ages, and they're in their 80s and 90s. And so spending time with them means a lot for me. And because I'm in a better physical and mental place, I'm able to stop everything I'm doing and go see them. So there you go. There's my rant for today. The challenges of NMN, they are out there. It's not so easy. Just feeling better doesn't solve everything. It may make things better for me, but then there are the frustrations of not being, you want to share. When something good is going on, you want to share it with others. You want other people around you, to not just be filling you with their sob stories. And if anyone sees this that knows me and is close to me, that's not my point at all. I'm happy to listen, but I can't do anything unless you do something. Unless you're going to make the change, there's very little I can do other than just be an ear. And I appreciate you guys being an ear today. I'll see you soon. Thanks for watching. Enjoy that beautiful view of Lake Michigan. It's lovely, isn't it? Bye.